Welcome back to Presley's Pod. Happy Sunday. I feel like today we just need a Presley update. How is Presley doing? What's going on in Presley's life? So I'm very happy that today we have a solo episode, okay? First things first, I would just like to address the elephant in the room. My hair is brown. I'm fully aware that my hair is brown, okay? And guess what I'm doing today? Going to get it done. We're going to be back to blonde and life will be good again. And I was thinking about just the whole idea of like being a blonde and getting your hair done. As a child, I was bright blonde, right? And now I just spend a lot of money trying to get back to that color. I don't think I know any natural blondes that have been blonde since like from childhood now, right? Couple things. My hairdresser, love her, right? She knows everything. We sit there and we just yap and yap and yap about men. My favorite thing to do. She knows everyone's backstory. She's seen pictures of everyone. She follows up. She asks questions. She wants to know what happened when I come back after a couple months, yada, yada. So I have to like go back in my calendar and make sure that I'm prepped and ready to go to provide the entertainment and the story time that she needs. I was also thinking about the fact that I pay her a lot of money to make my hair the color that I want it to be, right? And I just see these things online that say, oh, a woman is just using a man for a free dinner. She's just after his money, etc., yada, yada. If you're dating someone that pays for her hair to be blonde, she's not after you for a free dinner or some money, because if she's paying for her own hair, she definitely has some money in the bank, okay? Because it's literally, you have to, as a blonde, you have to make sure it looks good, make sure it looks natural, and that requires a cute little chunk of change, okay? So, any men out there, if you're going after someone that gets their hair done, I don't think she's just in it for the money, babe. She has her own. Anyway, I just got back from Vegas with my dad, and I was on the flight landing in Vegas. And I've really been pushing the limits with my suitcase. I'm looking at it stored up there. She's a cute little carry on, but somehow she always closes, and there's no extender, but everything gets shoved in there and she closes. So it was heavy. It was very, very heavy. And so I put it up top, whatever, sitting on the plane. As we're getting ready to go, a man says, "Oh, do you want me to grab your bag for you?" And I was like, "No, no, it's okay. I got it." And he's like, "Oh, no, it's okay. Like, I can get it." And I said, "Are you sure? It's really heavy." And we just kind of looked at each other after that, because it was almost as if I was implying that he couldn't lift it. And the way that I will never forget this man's face. He was like, I just sometimes you got to bring him back down to earth, right? He was landing in Vegas. Spirits were probably very high. He's feeling very confident, getting ready for a fun weekend. And I just had to be like, back down to earth you go, babe. But he got it for me, and shout out. Anyway, I was there for I think 4 nights, and people always are like, whoa, that's a lot of time to be in Vegas. But here's the thing, all I do in Vegas: spa, pool, dinner at 7 p.m., bed at like 10, 11 p.m. That's it. Repeat. Max 3 drinks, because I can't handle anything more. And I don't drink during the day there because I know that I'm going to have an espresso martini and some wine later. So I save it for that. So I was with my dad. We had so much fun. And I started thinking about this thing that I've always heard people say of like girls just want to like date their dads or like find someone like their dads. And that always weirded me out a lot for obvious reasons. I was like, nope, I don't even want to like, it weirds me out even saying that out loud. But now I think I understand what people mean by that because after this trip, it made a lot more sense to me why my love language is acts of service. Okay, let me set the scene. I send my dad my flight info. He's like, "Do you want a car or are you just going to Uber?" And I was like, "Oh, I can totally Uber, but whatever's up, whatever, you pick." I sent him the flight info. I love to go full airplane mode on planes, like fully detached from the world, whatever. Phone's on airplane mode. I land, I open my phone to a text message from my dad that was 5 minutes ago. So before I even landed, it said, "Welcome to Vegas. There's a car downstairs for you. They'll meet you at the bottom of this escalator. I already checked into your room for you. It's not ready, so you can put your stuff in my room and I'll come meet you downstairs when you arrive." And it's like, yeah, he gets things done, okay? Like no wonder that I literally was like that is a text that I would expect to receive from a man if I'm like meeting him on vacation, yeah? And I was like, wow, I really am acts of service. And then I just started like going back in my brain and I was like, what other ways have my parents instilled acts of service in me? And a few things popped up. One, whenever we're in Vegas, sometimes it's just my dad and I, sometimes it's the whole fam. My parents, if they're getting coffee for themselves in the morning, they drop some off at my room as well because I don't want to go down there. I want to be in my pajamas, coffee in bed. And if they're already going down there and we're on the same floor of the hotel, they just grab a little extra for me exactly the way that I want it and they leave it outside the door if they know that I'm sleeping. And then it took me back even farther and this example had two reasons why she was doing this, but in high school, anyone that did activities outside of just normal school, you're exhausted all the time. I would get home from said activity at 9 p.m., attempt to do homework till 11, go to bed, wake up, repeat. My mom would bring up to my room every morning one of those like yellow energy vitamin waters and put it on the far side of my room, right? Two things. One, to get me out of bed, okay? Because we were tired. Two, I'm like, that's acts of service because I could have gone downstairs and gotten it, but she was setting a perfect example of how, we might like to be treated. And here's the thing, every morning in my apartment, I handle everything. Like I can do it all myself. I really can. And sometimes I prefer it to do it myself because I know it's going to be right, whatever. But it's just so nice when someone takes something off of your plate, has it handled that way you can just show up and be present. I also think that when it comes to dating as women, we're like in our heads anyway because we're always thinking like 10 steps ahead of a man. So I think it's nice when someone, if you're on a date, if the man just handles it so that you can fully be present and like sitting across from him, knowing exactly like that you don't have anything to worry about and you can just exist. I also think when it comes to love languages, my second one is quality time. And yes, maybe that's just me using that as an excuse to go to dinners more so we can be one on one with my friends, etc. But I think quality time, I've always noticed of like I go out with my friends and I much would much rather would want to be like sitting across from each other actually chatting. So then I was like, okay, well, what is the love language for me that's easiest to give? Like, what can I give romantically to a partner? And I actually think, which don't take this the wrong way, I actually think that physical touch is easiest for me to give to a partner at appropriate times in appropriate places. Like, we don't need too much PDA. We've all seen it. No one wants to be around it, etc. But I think there is something to like holding each other, not holding hands. You can't hold hands and walk down the street in New York City. Like, don't even try to hold my hand. But some sort of like touch, hug, whatever, little flirty. I think that like all of that shows someone that you're into them and also that they're into you more than just a friend. Because sometimes my friends and I are like, does he want another friend or is he actually interested in me? Like, what is happening? And I haven't talked about this with the 26-year-old yet, so shout out, hey. Um, but I remember telling Lauren and Addie, um, after our first couple dates, I remember trying to like give a little touch and trying to flirt a little bit, and I was getting like nothing in return. Granted, it was the beginning, so you're still trying to figure each other out. But I just remember being like, I don't know if this guy's into me. I don't really know what's happening because I feel like I was so used to knowing exactly what was going to happen with the person sitting across from me, because you're like, okay, I know that this is going to be casual. I know we're not about to like actually date and fall in love and do the thing. So pushing the boundaries when it comes to like physical touch and flirting was fine because it's just like a fun fling, whatever, call it a day. But with a 26-year-old, as we all know, that like there's been something brewing here, maybe that he truly came out of nowhere. And it, in the beginning, it freaks me out a lot. I was just like, you just stay over there for a second and like don't come any closer. I like having you around, but just like park it over there because I need to figure out like what to do with you. But now I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed about it because I'm like, okay, this is fun. We've gotten past the like, like this is someone that is like coming out of nowhere and I don't know if I want a relationship. I don't know. Like, I just don't know. He really threw me off. But now I'm a little bit more relaxed about it. And I'm like, okay, if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, like that's okay. Our lives are going to go on. It's not the end of the world. Like, what's the worst that can happen, you know? And I think going into it with that like relaxed mindset, the way that I got here is time. Like, you have to give things time so that you can fully get to know someone, so you can fully start working on like getting past that first couple of months where you're just like, like buzzing and you're like excited about someone, because you need to, if you like jump off and you start a relationship from there, you haven't fully like settled into who each other like actually is, are, whatever the proper grammar is. And you just sometimes need to take a second and have that slow, slow, slow burn that we all know and love. And going back to the whole like PDA thing, I think, and like the whole physical touch, obviously you don't want the opposite where someone's coming on too strong. So I told we're gonna get back to this, by the way. Side note, you know what? Let's just go into it right now. I literally had to go to the doctor. I had to go to an ENT because my allergies, something's been insane. And she did the whole thing where she like puts the thing down your nose, whatever. The amount of nose spray that she prescribed me, I'm like, is this is definitely gonna mess up my brain. Like, this is she was like, there's a lot going on down there. You need like the amount of pills and nose spray that I'm on is a little concerning and it might like hurt my brain one day, but maybe it'll make me funnier or something. Anyway, but we're going to circle back to the whole going to the doctor thing. So I get it in the beginning, right? Addie said this once on the pod. If someone comes on too strong, it's obviously too much. It's like way too much. No one wants that. But you gotta have a little bit of something happening, especially with the first couple of dates, some flirting, some touching, because the worst is when you have a first date, you're sitting there as if you're friends, and then they go in for the kiss. And you're like, what? Like that came out of nowhere. I had like literally no idea that you were into me at all. So you gotta give something. You gotta give them like a little something. And truly, it depends on like the nature of the relationship now that you get more into it. Because the last guy that I was talking to before I met the 26-year-old, obviously that ended for some other reasons. Like he was definitely looking for his wife, and I was like, I am just not your girl. Like you should spend more time with someone like that, whatever. Towards the end, like anytime that he like would touch me, I was like, you gotta get away from me. I was like, I get like stop touching me, like literally stop. So now that I'm saying that out loud, I guess I can understand why you wouldn't want to go too heavy with that, because you wouldn't want someone to have that reaction. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is just not my vibe anymore. So I'm trying to think more about my love language and like try to explain it a little bit more, and also figure out how to, because I think you can have love languages with friends too. Like some, I've noticed that some of my friends need more like words of encouragement, words of affirmation, and some friends are more like, I don't want to be in my house, like you have to come out with me and you have to hang out with me, so quality time. I don't think any of my friends need physical touch from me. What are the other ones? Gift giving. It's like I'll the only person that I really, well, the me Lauren and Addie and I, we always give gifts to each other like around holidays. But other than that, it's just Sean to say thank you for doing manual labor around my apartment. But going back to the 26-year-old, I we saw each other this week and we both had really big work wins. And something that I'm trying to do more is celebrate those wins, because, at least in my industry, the minute that you have a win, it just causes a little bit more chaos in your life. So you get the win, and then you're like, wait a second, okay, because I got this, this means I have to cancel this, this, and this, reschedule all of this, fully redo what I thought like the next month, week, couple months would look like, and get all of this situated. And you almost start fully diving into that mode that you completely forget to be like, wait a second, like I did that. Yay. So that day that he was coming over, I was really craving some champagne. You know, when you're just like, God, I would love a glass of a nice champagne right now. So I said, you know what? Come on over early. Let's have some champagne. Let's celebrate our win. Let's dedicate this night to celebrating that, so that we can just not like be done with it after, but kind of. Then you're like, oh yeah, I did celebrate that and I feel good about the the time and energy that I put into celebrating that, and now we can like get to work. So we did that. We did omakase. We were eating food. We were hanging out, and it felt just very normal. And it felt very relaxed. Like I said earlier, I don't feel like I'm on edge around him anymore. The only thing that I think I need to work on is, remember in the beginning when we were, kind of starting to chat a little bit more, and I would tell some stories on the pod about how I would just be at a complete loss of words whenever he would ask me something about how I was feeling, or something about my life that made me a little uncomfortable. I just fully, my brain would shut down. So I'm trying to be better about keeping my brain turned on. But now I can hear myself like rambling whenever I start answering those questions, and I just see myself from like a bird's eye view and hear myself, and it's like I'm just reaching for words and just saying anything that like kind of comes to mind. And so now we need to be a little bit more on the opposite side and just think before we speak a little bit. I think I could use some of maybe old Presley needs to come back a little bit more because sometimes I'm like, why did I say that? Like, literally, what did I just say? It makes no sense at all. And he is very like well spoken, very articulate. He does a nice job of being like saying exactly what's on his mind. At least, you know, always prepare. Always prepare. Like Lauren, Addie, and I always say, always prepare for disappointment. But it seems like he is like telling the truth when he talks. You know, that's what we need. So I think the reason that I was so like freaked out in the beginning was because he was in the beginning he was being, I mean, still is, but so nice to me and treating me like a future relationship. And it's been a while since I've had anything like that, truly. Any like the 2021, 2022. So I'm like, I that's why I'm like, just you're freaking me out a little bit, but I'm here, but you're freaking me out. Anyway, I also had to check in because since he is my age and we are getting along well, I had to be like, okay, do I see myself dating this person just because it's more socially acceptable for me to date someone my own age? And are we just getting along because we're literally the same age? Or is this something more than that? And again, time heals all the more that you spend time with this person, yada yada. And people always say that girls just overthink way too much and we can't like take, but we have to because if you're someone that's extremely busy or you're someone that like you don't want to waste your time, you have to sit down and think about what you're doing for a second because looking back on so many like past situationships, flings, whatever, nothing's a waste of time because everything is a lesson learned. But there's some that I'm like, I could have saved like that, even just going on that first date. I could have saved that entire night for something else, etc. So I think it's was more of a curveball because it's not that I'm anti relationship right now. It's just that was fully not even on like the forefront of my brain at all. Like I've always been like, okay, I'll get there. Like, you know, I'm in no rush. I know we all know I'm in no rush, but I just never was like really looking and never was really that stressed about it. And so now that it's come up, it's like, okay, okay. So anyway, we're going to continue on this slow burn that I love. And I just want to make sure that if I decide to get into something, that I'm fully aware of that decision. Like I don't want it to just happen, if that makes sense. And I think last time for my last relationship, it just kind of happened and I kind of like fell into that. And I wish that I would have taken a second to be like, is this what I want? Like, do I want to be in a relationship with this person right now? Or do I need more time? Or what do I need? Like, I don't want it to just kind of, I know that things should happen and it always happens when you're not like looking for it and yada yada. But I think that like getting into a relationship, that's a big deal. Like that's a really big deal. And I feel like some people just like do it just to do it. And I'm not going to do that because that's, again, a huge deal. So I just want to make sure that I'm ready, especially since he came out of like complete left field. Yeah. Anyway, while I was in Vegas, my dad and I were bonding over like the insane dating stories that my friends and I have, the insane ways that these men have shown up on first dates, just like crazy behavior. And my dad was saying something about respect, like a lot of the core problem with some of these men and the things that we went through was like that they didn't respect you, they didn't respect women, some of them. They didn't respect your time. They didn't like you were just could literally be anyone. And as a girl, you can feel that when you're on a date with someone that's like, I can see that I'm literally just like the blonde of the week and I kind of want to go home. It's like they look at you like they're looking right through you. Or one of my favorite first date stories of mine is he was just looking like past me at the girl behind me the entire time. And I was like, oh, I just want to get out of here. So I think if like they're gonna like take you out and do all these things, like he has to respect you, because there's some things that I'm like, oh, he just doesn't respect you. Like he doesn't respect your time, he doesn't respect your energy, whatever. And I saw this thing on TikTok that was like, if he's in a room with like all of his guys and someone cracks a joke about you, or like cracks a joke about whatever, like would he have your back, or would he probably laugh along with the friends, if that makes sense. I was watching Euphoria, and Jacob Elordi's character was saying something to one of his friends like, "Oh, you need to get your wife to like settle down or calm down or whatever." And the guy's response should have been like, "Do not talk about my wife. Like, don't bring my wife into this." And then he said something along the lines of like, "Yeah, she's like needs to calm down, whatever." But I think with some of these men, we just need to start making sure that like you're not just any girl in their orbit, and that they're actually respecting you and respecting your time. And the minute that they don't, sayonara, see ya. um my hot take of the week is, and this has been bothering me a little bit because I'm like in the mood for an outfit for my birthday. I'm in the mood to find something fun to wear. This year with my fashion, I want to like push it a little bit of what my style is, because here's the thing, okay? And I'm just going to say it. I've been shopping at Aritzia since high school. Okay? Like, sorry, I have. Okay? I discovered it in high school when I came to New York and I was like, this place is cute. Great. Now everyone else knows about Aritzia. So it's like, okay, I got to find some new stores, because we're all starting to look the same a little bit. And it's fine. It's fine. It truly is fine, but I gotta branch out. And I think my style, like I was wearing Aritzia in college, early, right out of college, but now I kind of want to push it and figure out how I can bring my own like uniqueness to that style. Anyway, there's a brand that I'm eyeing for something for my birthday, and I'm fully gonna gatekeep the brand because, like, no, you're not. No. So, so there's this thing that I'm looking at, and the issue is it's, and with a lot of things online, I'm like, that's so cute. I click on it, it's see through. And there's a way to make see through things work. But when it's on the model and all, they just have like kind of blurs on the places that are see-through, and the website doesn't quite say that it's see-through, and the website should also give you some sort of recommendation as to what you should wear underneath it, because we want to see what it's going to look like with something like that underneath it and not some like blurry filter. I would love to know like what, because I'm like, if I spend the money to buy this thing and then I also spend the money to buy the things underneath it, like is that going to look good? I don't know. So that's my hot take of the week. Like we should know if something's going to be see-through. We shouldn't have to dig through the reviews, and the clothing brand should give you ideas of what to wear underneath it, because here's the thing, we're not all going to be like walking the red carpets in these outfits, right? We're going to go to dinner and they're like, I go to dinner at 6 p.m. like there might be a kid there and I can't sit there in a see-through dress, you know what I mean? Like on a red carpet or on like a cool party, it's probably fine, but the normal person is not going to those things. So if we want more people to be like buying our clothes, we got to make sure that it's a little bit more accessible, maybe. Anyway, I hope that everyone has a fantastic Sunday. I have to go because I need to do some research and some follow ups for my hairdresser. And when you see me next, I'm only getting a partial, so it's not going to be full blonde, but I will be back to blonde. I also need to desperately get my nails done. I was trying to be natural. So when you see me next, there probably might be something a little different about me. I feel like the confidence might be boosted. So happy Sunday. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.